What's up, guys? So, in my last video, I talked about how I just came home from Turkey a few weeks ago. I'm half Turkish, so going to Turkey for me is always this strange blend of both feeling like a homecoming and also this reminder of how I'm a foreigner at the end of the day. So, yes, I speak Turkish. Yes, I'm familiar with the culture, just like my other half, which is the French side. But there's this eerie thing where when I go back to the motherland or the fatherland, in this case with Turkey, uh, there's an eeriness to it because it's familiar, yet I feel like an outsider in certain ways. I'm very Americanized, and this trip in particular, the older I get, the more I feel it, and I get frustrated really easily. And some of it is just like family stuff, like a disconnect with certain family members over there. But there is also this key element of like toxic masculinity that is way more present in a culture like Turkish culture, and just stuff that feels very antiquated and like, to me it feels like they're out of touch, but in their minds they probably think I'm out of touch, right? Because I'm the one who's so Americanized and blah blah blah. So, it was an interesting, it's a very unique experience that I think it's difficult to relate to that unless you are an immigrant or you're the direct product of immigration, meaning like, you're first generation American, your parents moved here from wherever, or it doesn't have to be an American thing, right? It can also be, you grew up, I don't know, you're Chinese, but you moved to Japan as a kid or whatever, right? It's always a bizarre experience when you have a connection to a place, but you don't fully feel embraced there. And it's also kind of upsetting because then here in America, I don't fully feel American either, right? So it's always this kind of in-between place that actually there are a lot of parallels, I think, between that and being gay, right? And observing the world observing the straight world as a gay person. But something really beautiful happened this trip, which is that when I came home back to Miami, I felt a lot of solace and comfort knowing that I was coming home to my group of friends that I've made here over the past 6 months. I've made a lot of friends over the last 6 months from this beach club community that I joined here. And I had this epiphany of, oh wow, all of my friends, even beyond Miami, all of my friends in America, my good friends, are either immigrants themselves or they are the direct descendant, again, of the product of immigration. Their dad moved from another country, or their mom, and they come from a different culture. So like me, they are very Americanized, but they have a clear lineage that is different. So I thought, how beautiful is that I had this experience in Turkey where it felt bittersweet, and I had all these little like trigger moments that happened, but I get to come home to people who get it. And that was a beautiful thing. And I essentially realized like, oh, we're the modern Americans. My community here in Miami, my good friends in America, we are the modern Americans. So even though in my mind, I think of American as a very specific thing, which is like, born and raised in a small town in Iowa and has lived there their whole lives. And that's not my reality, but my reality is a lot of other Americans' realities, especially in major cities like Miami or like LA or New York City. So it was kind of this beautiful full circle moment of like, oh, but I do belong here because this country was built on immigration. Other than Native Americans, everybody in this country has some connection to immigration. It might not be first generation or second generation, but their roots have to do with immigration. And so the last few days I've been talking to some friends about this who totally get it, and it's the same thing for them. It's like they long for their culture and that connection, but once they go back, after enough time, they start to get frustrated, like I do, with certain things that are just, at this point, a disconnect culturally, or certain things that just feel so archaic. So it's this funny blend, but really I think as I get older, And especially with social media and stuff like that, you realize there's actually so many other people who have that experience, right? Especially in America. So I wanted to share that. I know I have a lot of viewers who come from mixed backgrounds as well, or who are immigrants or the product of immigration, direct product of immigration. So I thought I would share that.